Hi, students. This is Visweswaraiah, Assistant Professor of English, Government First Grade College, Kunigal. Here in this video, I would like to draw your attention towards genres of English literature. So this particular session is going to highlight more points on genres, types of genres, and briefly I'm going to explain about each genres. So this session or this topic is prescribed for Tumkur University UG optional English students who are studying in first semester. Genres or genre is most popularly known as a category of literature, music, or other forms of art or entertainment, whether written or spoken, audio or visual, based on some set of stylistic criteria. Yet, genres can be aesthetic, rhetorical, communicative, or functional. Generally we know that genres form by conventions that change over time as cultures invent new genres and discontinue the use of old ones. Often, works fit into multiple genres by way of borrowing and recombining these conventions. So, let us look at some of the slides on screen. Let us see here. This topic, as you see here on the screen, is introduction to the most important genres of literature. As I already told you that. So you can just ask us or ask me about what are the learning outcomes after learning this particular video. Or listening to this particular video. So teaching literary genres really which helps you to be active readers, and even most of you can think about creative writing, and you can focus on variety of genres from poetry to prose to non-fiction to playwriting. These are the things you can just focus here. Okay, look at this. Here in this slide, you can just see on the screen by saying that what is genre? What's genre? Most of us know that it means a type of art, literature, or music characterized by specific form, content, and style. Genres formed by conventions, as I already told you, that it change over time as new genres are invented and use of old one is disconnected. So here we see that there are 5 genres of literature. So we know that many of us have an idea of learning or an idea of just reading poetries or writing poetries, and we have already come across many stages by reading poetry, prose, and fiction, drama. So you know that and here you just focus on these are the genres we come across. Okay, look at that. There are 5 genres of literature. The first one is poetry, the other one is prose, drama, fiction, and non-fiction. Okay. See, what is poetry? And many of you, as I told you, have come across. You have learned from your kindergarten. See, this poetry is the first major literary genre. Is a form of text that follows a meter and rhythm with each line and syllable. Okay, so you know that rhyming words, meter, and each line has its own style and stylistic order, syllable, everything it includes. Poetry is poetry is subdivided into epic poem, narrative poetry, lyric. Yes. So you can just see that. What is an epic poem? An epic poem is a lengthy narrative poem, ordinarily involving a time beyond living memory, in which occurred the extraordinary doing of the extraordinary men and women who, in dealing with the gods or other superhuman forces, gave shape to the moral universe of for their descendants, the poet and his audience too. So this is again we can just say that there are some of the this elements elements which are there in the epic. Plot center around a hero here, or it is the hero completes which everybody only which is attempting, hero will complete it. Then it involves deeds of superhuman and strength and valor, velocity, they going to show that. Then war setting, it involves supernatural and otherworldly forces, and it has a sustained elevation of style. Poet remains objective and omniscient here. So like that we see that here also we find in epic poem there are two types, two main types here we find: folk and literary. Folk epic is an old form of epic poem that was originally told in the oral form, and over time authors tried to preserve them by writing them down in hard copies. Okay, so then it is like that. We're going to just see that right. And now next is narrative poetry. Okay, then what is narrative poetry or narrative poem you call? Narrative poems include epics, ballads, idylls, and lays. Some narrative poetry takes the form of a novel in verse. An example of this is The Ring and the Book by Robert Browning. In the term of narrative poetry, a romance is a narrative poem that tells a story of cavalry. So we see that narrative poems that tells a story here of making the voices of a narrator and the characters as well. The entire story is usually written in metered verse. Narrative poems do not need rhyme. The poems that make up this genre may be short or long, and the story it relates to may be complex. Okay, the next type is lyric. So we see here lyric poetry is a formal type of poetry which expresses personal emotions or feelings, typically spoken in the first person. It is not equivalent to song lyrics, though they are often in the lyric mode. So as I already told you that you have been come across such kind of lyric, means poetry, lyric poetries. Okay, so now let us go for the next slide. Next genre is drama. You know that drama. So this is a very interesting genre of in English literature. Yes, here as I told you that it is a very interesting genre. Drama. What is drama then? Drama is a form of text that is performed in a form of audience, and it is also called a play. It is written text which contains dialogues and stage direction. So William Shakespeare, known as the father of English drama, because William Shakespeare, a famous dramatist, so that particular one of the dramas of Shakespeare you are going to study in this first semester, that is Hamlet. Okay, so here we consider once again William Shakespeare, known as the father of English drama. Okay, so we see here drama is one of the best literary forms through which dramatists can directly speak to their readers or the audience, and they can receive instant feedback of audience. Okay, you may ask some questions regarding what is importance of drama in literature. Okay. Okay. So here you may ask a question like what is the importance of drama in literature? So empathy, understanding characters, roles, and the subtext of plays, and musical allows, which it allows students to relate better to different situations, backgrounds, and cultures. So it encourages them to show compassion and tolerance for others. They learn all these things while watching drama or reading drama. Okay. Okay, let us move to the other genre. Okay, here we see some of the things related to drama, which is subdivided into comedy, tragic comedy, tragedy. All these things are divided into the types of dramas we consider this. So what is comedy? The drama or the play which ends in a happy ending, like a happy ending, the climax. So we consider that comedy. Tragedy is, that it's a very ending or the climax is ends with the pathos, or and we can sorrow, and we see that okay, the death and other things happen at the end, so we consider tragedy. Those are the tragedy. And famous tragedy famous for tragedy we consider, or very famous William Shakespeare, known as tragedy playwright. So we find tragic comedy is also in this drama genre. Okay, let us go for other one, that is another genre is prose. What is prose? Oh, it has complete sentences organized into paragraphs. So you have come across prose, reading prose from your school days. Prose focuses on characters and plot rather than focusing on sounds, whereas drama was focusing on sounds, dialogues, and dialogue delivery. But here, prose only it focusing on the plot and characters rather than sounds. And prose includes short stories and novels. Okay, short stories, reading stories makes you to understand the characters are there and the plot will be there. And again in the novel we find that characters and plot elaborately taken away, and we see that these are the things happens in the genre of prose. Okay, prose is also categorized into like essays, speeches, lessons, and interpretations. Okay, then another genre is fiction. So what is fiction then? It is what are the types of fictions we find? There are realistic fiction, non-realistic fiction, semi-fiction. So authors in this fiction or can use complex figurative language to touch readers' imaginations. And here we find that in fiction it is more structured, which follows proper grammatical pattern and correct mechanics. Okay, a fictional work may incorporate fantastical and imaginatory ideas from everyday life. It comprises some important elements such as plot, we find here, exposition, foreshadowing, rising action, climax, falling action, and resolution. Yeah, so again we see that examples for fiction, very great examples we have here. So you can just see here on the screen. James Joyce's novel A Portrait and an Artist as a Young Man. Charles Dickens' A Tale of Two Cities. Jane Austen's Pride and Prejudice. Harper Lee's To Kill a Mockingbird. So these are the examples for fiction. Okay, another one, last one is non-fiction. What is non-fiction? Non-fiction, it's create like a personal essays or factual sometimes, and it like a scientific paper. So it may also use in this non-fiction maybe, and it also use figurative language. It may tell a story like autobiography, or sometimes it convey information to readers. So we find some of the examples for non-fiction here, that is biographies, diaries, memories, journals, fantasies, mysteries, and romances. These are the examples for non-fiction we find. So we have some of the references here. Okay, by saying this, you have come across some of the MCQs you find here, and you may get that at the end. So okay, I call you that. Thank you for listening me or watching this video. Thank you very much. Okay. See you in the other section. Thank you.